Hello, I'm Lisa Smith.
And I'm Brittany Hayes, and for the basis of this assignment, we have chosen the social event, the Royal Wedding.
On April 29, 2011, Prince William married long-time partner Kate Middleton, a commoner, in Westminster Abbey in London to become a part of the royal family.
The world stopped to watch Prince William and Kate Middleton become the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, along with 1,900 fortunate guests.
Kate was born on January 9, 1982, and is the daughter of Michael and Carol Middleton. Kate grew up in a small town called Bucklebury in England and went to attend the University of St Andrews in Scotland, where she graduated with upper-class second honours degree in arts history. This is where William and Kate first met, while they were both enrolled in art history. Kate worked as an accessory buyer for Jigsaw and later worked for her parents' family business, Party Pieces. From April 29, 2011 onwards, she will now be referred to as Her Royal Highness and will take on her new roles as the Duchess of Cambridge and also a wife.
William Arthur Philip Louis was born on the 21st of June 1982, most commonly known as Prince William. He is no stranger to the royal life and is the son of Charles, Prince of Wales, and his late mother, Diana, Princess of Wales. William is the older brother to Harry. William's mother, Diana, wanted her two sons to have normal experiences different to previous royal children. Diana, Princess of Wales, died in a car accident in 1997. The royal wedding relates within the Australian context for the reason that Australia was once a former British colony. So the royal family is also our royal family as well. Therefore, it is our national identity.
In today's society, class is an important factor. In John Austen's Culture and Identity, it states that class remains a significant and sometimes powerful determinant of many aspects of social life. Class boundaries, especially the poverty boundaries, continue to constitute real barriers in people's lives, and class location continues to have real and variable impact on individual subjectives.
German philosopher Karl Marx developed a socio-political theory of Marxism, where he established three principal class positions, which include aristocracy, bourgeoisie, and proletariat.
People were positioned in one of the three class positions according to social stratification. This is where individuals are divided up according to who they are on the social spectrum, according to our economic and social input. Hey, did you catch a royal wedding last week?
Yeah, couldn't miss it. It was on almost every channel.
Yeah, I know. I was actually thinking about planning a lesson on the wedding and relating to class and how education might mediate difference and dominance, or something along those lines. What do you think?
Yeah, sounds good. What ideas do you have for how you might teach about difference related to the wedding?
Well, because Kate was considered a commoner compared to Prince William as a royal, I will teach them difference to the different levels of class. I would start with the children reading this article I found for them to understand a few things about the wedding. After this, I would draw the class back into a group and evaluate this article. I would draw focus to particular points in the article I wish to give the children an understanding of, including the hierarchy and social stratification.
Sounds like an interesting lesson. You could also relate class to the medieval hierarchy by using the hierarchy pyramid to differentiate the various levels of class and relate this back to the royal wedding of William and Kate. This is to show the difference between upper, middle and lower class. The students need to understand that class is a concern for everyday individuals. While we may have thrown off traditional view of class as in lower, middle and upper class, from the English experience particularly, there is still a distinction between being privileged and underprivileged.
Yeah, I like that idea. I'm thinking about relating it to Karl Marx through a socio-political theory of Marxism, where he established three principal class positions, including aristocracy, which is like old money, the kings and queens of society, bourgeoisie, which is the typical business owners and people who have the capacity, and proletariat, which is the working class who sell their own labour.
Yeah, Karl Marx's theory is a good theory to use to explain class, but it's starting to show its age a little bit, being around 150 years old. These days, people are not so easily and broadly divided. Maybe you could incorporate the differences of private and public schools, and how class mediates students' attitudes towards this topic.
Yeah, that could work. It could explain to the students how economic wealth can determine who you can be and where you fit in society.
Yeah, exactly. And there will always be the notion of social stratification. That being, looking at how we as individuals get divided up in society and become stratified based on class lines. You could use the example of them attending this private school. and that the societal stereotype means the privileged children get to go to private schools with high school fees and supposedly achieve well, and underprivileged children go to state schools. So what else would you hope to draw out of the event that might assist students in their understanding of difference?
I hope for the children to develop an understanding of difference between a common and a royal wedding. I hope that they recognise the major differences, such as the significance of a royal wedding compared to an everyday common wedding. By using this, the children's thinking would relate to Jean Piaget's theory of cognitive development. As they move through the stages of sensory motor stage and into the stage of formal operations, they will identify and think about abstract concepts and hypothetical possibilities.
Yeah, and in that stage they should be able to use their thinking to compare the differences between the two weddings. The royal wedding consisted of 1,900 guests, which took place in Westminster Abbey, which was lined with red carpet, broadcast on national TV to over 2 billion viewers, and the streets of London were lined with onlookers. Whereas an everyday wedding would consist of a small church, not anywhere close to 1,900 guests, no red carpet, and it would be a more personal event. A royal wedding is an event that only occurs once a decade. The last two royal weddings were in 1986 and 1999. In comparison, an everyday commoner wedding is just that, an everyday occurrence.
Yeah, that's right. Maybe I could organise an activity using class as an axis of identity to recognise some of the differences between self and other, and how individual identity differentiates you from others. But I don't know how to go about teaching identity.
Well, I believe that identity, at its most basis, gives you a sense of personal location, the stable core to your individuality, and is formed through continuous comparison and includes sociological, political, and cultural dimensions. Identity is continually changing, it's complex and always incomplete.
That makes sense, but how would I teach this to Year 10 students?
Well, you could relate it to binary oppositions. Binary meaning two, and oppositions obviously meaning opposite, so it's just two things that are significantly different. You could use binary oppositions such as male-female, black-white, rich-poor, or self or other.
Okay, and how could I relate this back to class?
Well, class is a major part of everyone's identity, and it's just as important as gender and race and all the other important aspects that make individual identity.
Okay, I understand now. I mainly want to use the event to show the students what the difference is within society, but there is always the dominant group within that society and has power and uses that power. I want the students to understand that difference is not a negative thing, but sometimes has negative influences.
However, using the event, you would have to be careful not to discriminate against students' personal backgrounds. What a child brings to school every day in their virtual school bag is not to be discriminated against.
Yes, I agree. For this to be successful, I must not use labels that serve to categorise, not perpetuating inequalities through categorising children, seeing potential and building on strengths of the students.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Anyway, break's over, back to class.
Thanks for the ideas, Brittany. Now the structure of the lesson is coming together.